All right, y'all. Good morning, man. KJ, do not have long. Don't have long at all. Actually, actually, I don't have long at all. But I do want y'all to check me out now. Uh, I want y'all to, you know what I'm saying. I guess in the comments, I want y'all to explain to me, help me understand this thing about covenants, 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 covenants. You know what I'm saying? I really want to understand it. I want y'all to help me understand it. So I want your opinions in the comment section on covenants. Maybe it's a covenant that you know of or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I did a little research and I did realize a few things. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Covenants, there's different kind of covenants. And I even read in the Bible where God made covenants with people and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's kind of what I want to, do, I guess. You know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at. So, you know what I'm saying? If I'm vibing out with my people, we're going to vibe out. And I just really want to understand and know more about covenants. Shoot, it was important. And to God, I guess. Yeah, I was reading Second Samuel chapter 7 last night. And I just opens up my Bible. I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? I don't think ahead. I need to read this one. I just open up and I just be like, all right, whatever it is that I need to, you know, see, whatever it is that I need to have enlightenment on, or whatever it is, when I open up the Bible, turn that page, Lord, let it be what it be. And so I ran up on Second Samuel chapter 7. Y'all ever want to read it? It actually is a good read. So I will paraphrase real quick because I don't have much time anyway. I gotta get ready to go to work. So I'm gonna paraphrase real quick what I gathered from Second Samuel chapter 7. Right? So God speaks to Nathan, right? And tells Nathan that David is to build a house where um, the Spirit of the Lord can dwell. That's what he says. And he makes these promises uh to concerning David. Finally, Nathan makes his way, tells David, and David has the realest conversation with God that I think I've ever heard. Right? I mean, to for God to request of you to do something so important, something so precious, like I would think I would be like, who am I that you would ask to do something like this? And that's basically how David was coming. Like, what? Why would you? Like, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately David agrees and says, well, Lord, you know, do what you said you're going to do. By that time, it registered in my head that this is some type of agreement. This is some type of covenant. I don't think about covenant. That word don't come up in my mind or in my conversation or anything like that. So definitely for me, this is enlightenment, right? So um by then I gathered that this is a covenant. There's some type of agreement. So I began to do just a little type of research or whatever, and um like I said, um it says that covenant, at least in that term biblically, is a legal binding agreement, um no, a divine legal binding agreement. Can't forget that part. Divine legal binding agreement between God and man. Now there's two kinds of covenants that I ran across. So there's unilateral and that's bilateral covenants. Bilateral covenants is a conditional covenant. If you do this, God will do this. If you do this, God will do that. All these covenants that God present to these people that I read in the Bible, that I gathered in my studies, they all fulfilled the need and they were great. They more than fulfilled the need. They exceeded. You ever hear people say exceedingly abundantly? They exceeded the expectation. It exceeded what they needed. Good morning, Gina. Um, it exceeded, right? It exceeded what they longed for. All right, and then now you have a unilateral covenant. And oftentimes, when God makes a unilateral covenant, you it's nothing that you need to do on your end. It's all the promise of God. It's all what God said He's gonna do. Whether whether you up, whether you down, whether you bad, whether you are good, God is gonna be faithful to His covenant. He's gonna. That's it. So there's two kinds of covenants. So it didn't resonate with me at first, right? Because I'm just reading. It didn't resonate. But as I began to like really kind of think into this thing, it began to resonate. That was another covenant between Abraham and God. Abraham was 100 years old, and his wife was 90 years old and unable to bear a child. So God um, comes up, and I realized like every covenant that God presented, He had the terms, right? God presented the terms. He he presents the terms to Abraham. You know, Abraham, I want uh, your bloodline to be uncircumcised. Everybody, I'm gonna make y'all. You're gonna produce kings and queens and kingdoms up under you, and all of this. And when God told Abraham that Sarah would have a child, the Bible actually says Abraham laughed. 100-year-old man, a 90-year-old woman, and we're gonna make a child. That's what I gather. I could be wrong, but that's what I gather, right? And so then, the part that moves me is like, but Abraham agrees, even though he laughed, right? And David asked God, "Who am I?" Right? These, you know, covenants. Now I realize that all these covenants are for purpose, and don't get me wrong, um, they are even biblically. There are people that broke covenants, but God, hey, He presented these covenants. I thought about the bilateral covenant part. In the book of Genesis, he said, "Well, I want to make you ruler over the earth." Good morning, Mama Mia. I'm going to make you ruler over the earth, and all this is yours. The beast, the fowls, the fruit. This is yours. I'm going to make you ruler over this. All you got to do is don't eat of this fruit. Don't eat of this tree. That's what he said. That was a covenant. You will rule if you don't do this. I find it so important. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think this is my thought process. Sometimes I gotta be careful because I be getting caught up in feeling like that maybe God has um evolved with us in 2026. Like as if God is new. As if God is, you know what I'm saying? As if he's growing in his knowledge. And when God is all all knowing. You know what I'm saying? AI don't know more than God. There's nothing that knows more than God, right? Nothing. So this is what gets me, right? And I'm gonna go, and I'm done after this because I gotta get ready for work. He says, okay, so the scripture says that God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, meaning God is unchanging. So the same God of old, the same God, the ancient God of Israel, the same God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is still the same God today. So I find it crazy because, y'all, maybe we're not hearing God sometimes. Do y'all know, like, you don't choose your covenant with God. God chose the covenant with you. Morning, 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 mama. I'm almost done. But God chooses the covenant with you. God says, look, I'm going to come into a legal agreement with you that if you do this, I'm going to do this. A lot of us search for that. Some of us on life, we've been on lifelong journeys trying to find peace, trying to find this and that and da 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 da. And the whole time, God might be just saying, hey, listen, I want to call you into covenant. I want to call you into a partnership. I want to call you into agreement. And not only do I want to do that, but I want to more than bless you. I want to exceedingly, abundantly, press down, shaking together, cup running over, bless you. How do you come into generational blessings? If you look in the scripture, generational blessings, a lot of them came through covenant with God. Look at the covenant with Abraham. He didn't just bless Abraham and Sarah to have a child, but he blessed them to be to have kings and queens up under them, nations up under them, uh, 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 people that were not able to bear. Now they have born and birthed nations exceedingly abundantly, above all you can ask or think. I thought it'd be so good, y'all, because I did notice the hesitation and some of the reservations that some of these men of God had when God presented the covenant to them. And that is such a real feeling. Just imagine if God came to you right now in your situation, right where you at, and said, hey, look, you are now David. I'm calling you to build me a temple that I can dwell. Right now, right now, right where you at, living how you live, feeling how you feel, right there. God presents an opportunity to you that is so much bigger than what you see yourself. Can I work that? That's exactly what happened with David. That's exactly what happened with Abraham. God, this is so unbelievable that you want me to do this. That you want me to do this. This is what I love about it, though. It was almost as if they couldn't say no because, again, like I told you, God uh, uh, more than fulfilled the need. It overflowed. This is good. This is good. I never realized how important covenants are to God. Just real quick, I got maybe okay, I got maybe 5 more minutes. Okay, I wanna explain to you how important the covenants was. So in the Old Testament, it was so important when they would do covenants, they would go ahead and they would get animals and they would cut the animal in half and stuff like that. You take this part, I take this part, right? So there was blood sacrifice. So if this covenant was broken, you could expect blood. It was life or death, some of these covenants. I'm just keeping it real. It was that important. Man, that's deep. You would be surprised how many people live their life day to day not hearing that God is calling them into covenant somehow. God is calling them. Look at somebody said preach. I'm just talking, but it kind of do feel like a preach. Come on now. But many people, God has not changed. He's calling people in the covenant to bless your generation for you to overflow. This is good. I want you to know that, and I'll explain to you, but I really want you to gather that going into covenant with God is not comfortable. And it's not easy. Could you imagine? I got all this stuff around me. I rule the earth. I got everything, but it's this one tree that bears fruit that I cannot eat from. I am curious. I am just a man. What does it taste like? What does it smell like? Why is it so god dang on pretty? Why is it shining? I feel like it's calling me. I got everything else. I got everything I need. Why do I want that forbidden fruit anyway? But it's something in me. I'm curious. I want to know. That's why I love when David was talking to God, and and God was telling him about the covenant that He had for him. David was saying, "Well, God, you know me. I shoot, I may fall. Hey, you so that was so real of David. That was so real. But God supplied what David need within the contract, within the legal binding contract that they had. I will give him grace and mercy. Yeah, when he mess up, I'll punish him, but I will always have mercy on David and his bloodline and his family. No matter what he does, I'm going to have mercy on him. Man, the mercies of God is something. The mercies of God will move mountains. The mercy of God will call you out of dark places and bring you into the light. The mercies of God will give you another chance. The mercies of God is why some of us are still here. The mercies of God is, come on, man. Gosh. He says, every day I give you new mercies. Every day. Every day, I give you new mercies. Yeah, I could take you out, but I gave you new mercy. Yeah, you was wrong, and you should be engulfed in the things that you were wrong, but I love you so much, I gave you new mercy. What I could have done, I ain't gonna do. What I could allow, I'm not gonna allow. I gave you new mercy. That's important. All right, I'm done, y'all. I'm done. Okay, I got you. You came in late. Second Samuel chapter 7. All right. This is when God talks to David about a covenant. And these are things that are covered in the covenant. He said, David, I will always give you mercy in the covenant. I want you to build me a place where I can worship. Listen, mama, I want you to build me a temple where I can, where I can dwell, not worship, but a temple where I can dwell. Right? But all these things are covered in the covenant, and David agreed to the covenant. Right? And I just wanted to explain how important I felt our covenants are when I read the scripture. You had Abraham, you had different covenants. So start with Second Samuel chapter 7. It'll start with God telling Nathan to tell David of this offer. Okay, but that's the scripture. No, thank you. I gotta go listen to the Bible now to see if I understand. I'm lost. Go ahead, and then talk to me. Like if I don't want to, hey, I'm just expressing what I gather. I could be uh wrong, or I could lack the knowledge of. I ain't perfect. I ain't nobody. I'm just saying, who wrote the Bible? Man documented what they perceive. Well, you gotta understand, okay? Because you got, if you look at the New Testament, right? Mark, Matthew, Luke, John, all four of them would say the same thing. It seemed like over and over, just in different ways. That's because that was the account that they saw. Mark saw it one way, Luke saw it one way, John saw it one way, and Matthew saw it one way. Right? You know what I'm saying? They saw it one way. They were there. That's where their writings. Now the part that I think we get messed up is the Bible was translated into the English language, right? So we can understand. And the thing is that there are parts that did not make it. Can I be honest? There are parts that didn't make it in the Bible. But This is the key element that I feel a lot of us miss when it comes to the scripture. Because there are three ways you can look at the scripture: a historical, a present, and future. So it's all about, sometimes the enlightenment comes, I guess, you know, by the scripture, by how you read it, how you see it. You know what I'm saying? Open up my depth, help me understand, help me be articulated with this. I know me, I might read something I don't understand. I'm finna go to a commentary. I want to get some more enlightenment. What's the backdrop around it? What is, you know what I'm saying? Like where, because it's important. It's important. Thank you, mama. Thank you, though. Mm. I'm gonna go back and listen to this myself. I ain't gonna lie. I go back and listen to them, and shoot, I wanna talk. But yeah, the bilateral. You had the remember, bilateral covenant, right? Conditional covenant. So whatever. It's all good, y'all. I gotta get to work. We're gonna rock out. Like I said, maybe you know something I don't know. Put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about these things together. I just, you know what I'm saying? This is where I'm at. If I'm gonna, chill with my people like I want to, I want to talk about. I want to talk about what's going on in my life and where I'm at. Just being transparent. That's something I picked up biblically, and it's good. Juice box, I see ya. I see ya, juice box. Salute to the chat. I love y'all, man. Y'all have an amazing day. Amazing day. Like I said, drop on the comments and we can have a conversation. And when I get off work, we'll go back live. We'll talk about we'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let me get in here. Y'all have a blessed one. All right, y'all. Bye.